Good afternoon. I'd like to call Sutter LAFCO Board Commission to order. Forgot to turn my mic on. First of all, we'll have the roll call, please.
Chair Conant,
Yeah, present.
Commissioner Boomgarden,
Here.
Commissioner Cochran,
Present.
Commissioner Elphick, Commissioner Munger, Commissioner Wooten,
Here.
and Commissioner Zegenmeyer.
And we'll let the record show that alternate Commissioner Manny Cardoza is in the audience.
Okay, we'll stand for the flag salute, please. And Commissioner Cochran will lead us in the salute.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? A motion
Second.
and a second? We'll just do a voice vote on these. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Minutes. Is there any deletions or corrections to the minutes for November 9th and January 11th?
I move the acceptance.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. And we'll do a voice vote on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, public comment. Members of the public will be are invited to address the commission on any matter of interest that the public that is not on the agenda for a period of time not to exceed 5 minutes. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the commission cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. But maybe added to a future agenda and brought up under public comment for appropriate action at that future meeting. Any public comment, any questions? Nope, seeing none. Moving on to item number 5. Consideration of authorization executive offer to release a request for proposal to the service municipal service review sphere of influence update fire service in Sutter County and establish an ad hoc committee to review the consultants submittal and provide a recommendation to the full commission. Okay, Doug, do you want to handle this one or?
Yes, can you hear me all right?
No.
Okay, so let me tell you what, give me a second. I'm going to walk over to the,
Okay. I don't think your mic's working.
can you hear me now? All right, we're having some technical difficulties.
You want to use mine?
Luckily, we have an IT person here.
He's on his way.
There we got it.
There we go.
That's better.
Now we're back in business. Okay, thank you, commissioners. So just to recap, back on January 11th, we brought before your commission a report, and then the commission determined that it desired to move forward on a comprehensive municipal service review for fire services for Sutter County. So as a result, staff went away and prepared a draft RFP. We circulated that draft RFP out to the commission for review and comment. We also circulated the RFP out to every fire service agency in the county. So each fire chief got a copy of it and could provide comments if they desired. We did receive some positive comments from the Sutter County Fire Chief Shalowitz, as well as the Yuba City Fire Chief Alexander, who's here in our audience. So we also provided an opportunity to comment from the Sutter County Administrator, Yuba City and Live Oak city managers. Now, we did not receive any requested changes, but like I said, we did receive some positive comments from the two fire chiefs. So the RFP is attached to your staff report. So as part of today's action, staff is recommending that the commission accept any public input on the draft RFP and that you authorize the executive officer to release the RFP to obtain consultant services for preparation of a comprehensive municipal service review and sphere update for fire services in the county. And we're also asking that your commission establish an ad hoc committee comprising 3 commissioners to review consultant submittals and provide a recommendation back to the full commission. That would conclude my comments unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Doug. I think it would be remiss if we didn't mention that this was started maybe 2 years ago or longer, right?
I think I have some records showing that I found it was back in probably 2020, 2021.
Yeah, so my point is this is something we really need to do to get a handle on what this county needs to have for fire service and or maybe some, there's lots of options that might be brought up before this thing is done. In this report, it could end up showing that we want to combine fire services, maybe we don't. They want to combine fire with the city or the county. There's a lot of things this thing could bring forward that we don't know where it's going to go, which is a wonderful thing because we're going to be thinking outside the box, I hope. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I'll stop those comments there. You probably have something you want to say, Mark.
Just a
You're
few.
The fire expert here.
I don't know about expert, but he's sitting over there. I do have a couple of comments. First, the RFP looks very thorough, and I appreciate that, and incorporation of the pre-hospital emergency medical care, which I think 2 years ago, I'm not sure that was emphasized as much as it probably needs to be, since it's a significant portion of what our folks do. There's a couple things that are going on that I think might I think it's probably covered, but it is getting into the weeds a little bit. But number one is currently the cities and the counties in the bi-county region are taking a look at consolidated dispatch. And so a municipal service review should probably at least consider some of the findings that other group is currently working on. And that is, again, that's a bi-county effort at this point. And I don't know whether we'll do that or not, but this is probably about the 3rd iteration that I've been involved with when we start talking about consolidated dispatch. But that would definitely impact, at a minimum, response times.
We could very easily add a component that includes that.
The second item I had in here is, and again, I think we speak to fire and pre-hospital emergency medical care in here, but these fire departments in Sutter County are doing all risk stuff now. So they're out doing hazardous chemical response. They're out doing technical rescue, which includes building collapse, water rescue, and some other things. They're also very engaged in the statewide Master Mutual Aid PAC, which pulls resources from here to support the state, with the theory that it's kind of a quid pro quo. If we need help, they'll need help. But there are times when I know the county and I know the city anyway get to a point of drawdown, which is defined as we can't give you any more help because we're committed to these other agencies, but we have our own to protect. And so I know, working with the 2 chiefs, at least, if not all the chiefs, there's probably some consideration to the impact on response times and or depth of resource that all those types of incidents bring to the table. And I want to make sure that as we work through this process, some of that's considered. Hazardous materials incidents are very time-consuming. Water rescue things can be very time-consuming, and the Master Mutual Aid stuff can be weeks and or months at a time during fire season and or other events. And that's really it. I think I'm looking forward to us actually finally, as a LAFCO board, getting a shot at participating and getting this report done, because I agree with the chair that this is something that's overdue, and it's going to be pretty meaningful to all the fire service delivery components within Sutter County. That's it.
Thanks, Mark. I'm going to now open it up, unless there's any other commission want to address the board before. I want to open it up to public comment first, unless somebody else wants to ask. Yeah, nope. Okay, let's open it up for public comment then. Comment and input. Any public want to comment or input on the RFP or that process or what we're doing? No? Oh, okay. I thought maybe. Certainly. How about you, Chief? You want to say something?
Is it working on this end? Yes. So no, 100% support the RFP process on this. Councilmember Boomgarden pointed out some of the additional items that are on there, but it appears to be a very thorough RFP, and we support it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, moving on to item B, authorizing the executive offer to release the RFP and obtain consultant services for preparation of comprehensive municipal service review and sphere of influence update for the fire services in Sutter County and establish an ad hoc committee for LAFCO Commission. And I would assume at this time a motion would be an appropriate response, right, Doug?
Yes, that's correct.
I would like to do B and C, might as well do it at the same time, unless we want to take them separately to figure out who wants to apply for the. Okay, let's do B first, and then we'll move on to C.
I move on B.
A motion?
Second.
Second? And, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, now let's do C. Maybe we should have a discussion first about, potential applicants for up to 3 LAFCO members. Right, Doug? We should have 3, or we should have.
So a quorum comprises 4, which is the reason why we're just proposing 3. And so if we can get the RFP out on the street over the next week, then probably towards the end of April, we will get the responses. And then we would probably be looking in May for the ad hoc committee to meet. So we're not looking for a long commitment, probably, hopefully one extra meeting for the 3 commissioners.
Probably the subcommittee ad hoc committee would probably be done in end of June.
Yeah, I would hope that we could come back with a proposed contract at the July meeting. That would be my goal.
Okay. Anybody want to volunteer for the 3 spots? I was going to say, Mark, you should definitely be on it. You have a lot of experience with fire. Anybody else?
I think you need to have a Sutter County.
I'll do it. Okay. Yeah, you probably should. Okay. All right. Even on the short time. What's that?
You can volunteer Mike Zitmeyer, he's not here.
No, Mike is actually working. He's at a public meeting for the phone system that the PUC's talking about banning all hard landlines, and he's at that. I think he's still there. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. So he's not here. Okay. And Carm, I think, is in India now. So we need a motion stating that we would have us 3 as who wants to make the motion?
Make a motion that Commissioner Elphick, Commissioner Boomgarden, and Chair Fonet be the ad hoc committee for purposes of recommendation on a preferred consultant for the RFP for the
Fire. Okay. We have a motion and a second.
I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed unanimously. Okay, public hearing. LAFCO fiscal year 24-25 preliminary budget. We need to have a public hearing, so we're opening the public hearing. Is there any public comment?
So, Mr. Chairman, would you like to have a presentation, brief presentation first?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay, so the LAFCO law lays out that LAFCOs are required to adopt a preliminary budget by May 1st and then a final budget by June 15th. Now, due to our LAFCO's schedule of bi-monthly meetings, your commission typically meets in March and then in May. So today would be our preliminary budget. Our intent is to come back to your commission on May 9th for adoption of the final budget. The statute lays out how LAFCO's budget is to be apportioned amongst the agencies. Statute says that 1/3 of LAFCO's budget is paid for by the county. 1/3 of LAFCO's budget is paid for by a combination of the cities. So in this case, Yuba City and Live Oak. There's a formula in the statute. Basically, in our area, of that 1/3, 90% gets paid for by Yuba City, 10% by the city of Live Oak. And then third, independent special districts. They pay also 1/3 of LAFCO's budget. And the statute provides a formula for that. And after the final budget is adopted in May, we then transmit that over to the county auditor controller's office, and then they request payment from each agency by July 1st. So staff has proposed a balanced budget for fiscal year 24-25, totaling just over $213,000. It was included as attachment B, which after distribution, I know a lot of you look at the packets online, how we push them out to you. Looking at the hard packet, it was a little bit small, so we printed out an 11 by 17 budget spreadsheet for you. Of the budgets as proposed, the budget categories, general budget categories are proposed to increase overall $16,564 or 15%. That doesn't include municipal service reviews. Costs are proposed to be eliminated in the communications category due to the cost being included in your staff service rate. Increases are proposed in the executive officer staff services category from $48,000 to $65,000. However, I would note that it is still less than the fiscal year 22-23 budget where $80,000 was budgeted. We do anticipate probably a couple small proposals coming in next fiscal year, and there's going to be a need for staff involvement for the municipal service review for fire services. You'll notice that the membership category is proposed to be expanded to, say, memberships and subscriptions. Typically, memberships has been our commission's membership with Cal LAFCO. We're proposing to include subscriptions for web hosting. So with the retirement of former executive officer John Benoit, we needed to find a new location to host LAFCO's website, which we found with Squarespace, and it has an annual fee of about $300. The largest budget increase is the municipal service review, where traditionally LAFCO has budgeted $20,000 annually. For the proposed budget, we're suggesting $100,000. Now, this increase is an estimate. As we were preparing the RFP, we reached out to some other LAFCOs that we discovered had also done fire service, municipal service reviews, and found out that they cost range from $80,000 to $140,000. And it depends on the number of agencies involved, and there's a lot of factors that can go into that. So we have proposed an estimate of $100,000. Depending on how the costs come back, if it were to come back higher, and if the commission decided to move forward, I think the commission has a couple options. You could look at doing a budget amendment to utilize some of your reserves, or you could look at funding it over 2 fiscal years as a potential option. I would suggest, though, that because the commission has waited a very long time for a fire municipal service review, that you may want to do a budget amendment for it. So the big question is, with the increase in the budget, how are we proposing to pay for it? Well, the short answer is LAFCO work over this fiscal year has been light. And so that is allowing us to have a larger than normal carryover from the current fiscal year into the next. So that's allowing us to largely pay for the fire MSR and keep the costs for what was paid last year. So agencies would not see an increase. The proposed budget does maintain an undesignated fund balance of approximately $144,000, and this exceeds the Commission's traditional $100,000 balance. I would say that due to inflation, that it's probably going to be my goal to try to get the Commission's reserve up to probably $200,000, because that $100,000 dates back to actually around 2010 timeframe. So staff's recommendation is to have you conduct a public hearing and then make any recommendations for changes to the proposed budget, and then adopt a resolution that would approve a preliminary budget for fiscal year 2024-25. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thanks.
Any questions for Doug? Go ahead.
On the, let me get on the right line here. The 65,000 for the executive officers and clerk services. How many people, part-time or whatever, is involved in that?
So at this time, the cost would be myself and with some assistance from Sharina, who's functioning as our clerk. Depending upon if a larger proposal were to be submitted to LAFCO, we may need to have some additional support. So I do envision probably bringing forward to the Commission an updated staff services agreement that would provide for that, and then the Commission would be able to review and provide input on that.
Well, under that 65 for yourself as director, does that cover your time and effort to oversee the MSR?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. So since we kind of jumped the gun, maybe we should reopen the public hearing. Is there any questions from the public? No? Okay. We're going to close the public hearing then. And adopt a resolution for presentation of the budget for fiscal year 24-25. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Therefore, if there's no more discussion on this budget, we will move forward with a vote. Should we do a roll call on this one?
Yes, please.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baumgarten?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Commissioner Elphick?
Yes.
Commissioner Munger? Commissioner Wooten, sorry.
Yes.
And Chair Conant?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, motion passes. And that concludes that item. Let's move on to the executive officer's report. Doug?
Mr. Chairman, the only thing really I wanted to let you know is there is annually LAFCO puts on a staff workshop in the spring. And I've been out of LAFCO circles for a while, so I do intend to get to the staff services or staff workshop in late April. It's a good opportunity to network and find out what's going on with other LAFCOs, so hopefully I can be more efficient with your commission. So that's all I have for you. Thanks.
Any other questions for Doug? Seeing none, if there's nothing before the order, meeting will be adjourned. Anything else? Meeting adjourned.